It's closed. We'll go over the fence. The fence is too high. We'll pole vault in. If that doesn't work, we'll parachute in. But we're going to get health care reform passed for the American people.
All righty. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi vowing today that health care will get done, even if it costs another $300 billion more to fix the Senate's plan. Democrats clearly not getting the message, or are they, from Scott Brown's big election in Massachusetts? But my next guest says the president indeed has. Political analyst Carl Jeffers joining me right now. Carl, I love you dearly. I don't see the president getting the message. I certainly don't see congressional leaders getting the message.
Oh, I think that the president gets the message. And remember, Congress's approval rating, both Republicans and Democrats, are so low that, in fact, it really wasn't the message of Virginia, Massachusetts, and New Jersey that Congress needed to get. They're almost beyond hope. The president, however, was sent a definite message, and I think he got that message, and he
Where
showed
did
that
you
a
pick
bit
up on? I covered the speech last night. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
What were you hearing?
Well, let's go a couple of things. One, he made it clear that, and this is not just rhetorical, that jobs and the economy will be the primary focus for the next year. And one of the concerns that was costing him support among liberals and particularly independents was that in the past year, they felt that he was losing that emphasis on jobs and instead focusing on things like health care, like Wall Street, and continuing the bailouts when Wall Street was getting healthy. So that was one example.
He hasn't given up on health care.
Where did he put
has not given up on health care.
He didn't even mention it. No, he hasn't. But, Neil, that's true. But he didn't mention health care till almost 40 minutes into the speech.
Oh, stop it with this time. If you want to play this numbers game, all right, he mentioned health care 7 times. He mentioned whatever jobs 29 times, whatever. I can play this game back and forth. The fact of the matter, he did say, bottom line, that he's going to keep going. My issue with all of this is that it was a hodgepodge of stuff thrown at people to see what would stick. And, I wonder, like, what does that do? I mean, at least in Bill Clinton's case, after being humbled, he sort of retrenched. He met with Newt Gingrich. He said, all right, what can we do? This guy, maybe you're seeing it. You know him better than I do, and you know the leaders better than I do. I don't see any shift in thinking. I don't think they see a need to.
Oh, I think they do. And I can tell you, Neil, that, in fact, the speech that we heard last night was a different speech than we would have heard had not the Democrats lost in Massachusetts.
How was it a different speech,
The president got a message. He got a message because, one, he was clearly trying to appeal to the so-called populist anger that's in the country, which definitely came out of the Massachusetts message. Right. Number two, he recognizes that health care, the way he sees it, and more importantly, the way Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi sees it, is probably not going to happen, and that's why he did lower its priority, even though we do need health care reform.
Why the very next day is he doubling down, and Nancy's doubling down, and she's saying, well, I know $300 billion for this, and she's winking and nodding to her colleagues saying, look, there are other ways we can get this through. And then, lo and behold, he's in Tampa, Florida, talking up some super fast rail that's going to go to the, I don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to cost a lot of money. And when the American people are just saying, will you slow the heck down?
Well, that rail's going to go from Tampa to Orlando. It's about $1.6 billion that had been authorized several months ago, and Joe Biden, they defended it as being ready essally because they had advanced it. So
Joe Biden loves anything. Joe Biden likes anything on a rail, on rails,
Well, he used to take the rail commuting from Delaware to Washington for 30 years. Yeah, but Neil, the president showed last night, without question, that he recognizes that he's on a path that if he doesn't pivot differently will cost him bigger than he will lose in November. Listen, the president's going to take a hit this November. We know that, and he knows that. In fact, every president does in their first 2 years. But what is different is that he got a wake-up call in Massachusetts, and if they stay awake and don't sleepwalk from now till November, he can turn this around. Not to turn it around so that everybody's back in his corner and not to win. He will lose seats, but it won't be as many.
I don't think you believe what you just said. I don't think you believe what you just said.
Well, what I just said makes all the sense. Neil, every time I come on every week, you can't tell me I don't believe what I just said because you keep having me back. So it must make sense to somebody.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Well, I keep having you on because you're so good. You're so good. But
well, Carl, but you're giving me good material.
All right. Well, good having you back again. You're wrong on this one, but that doesn't mean we won't invite you back because we love having you on. Constantly being wrong.
Well, especially if J.D. Hayworth is going to get a gift for appearances. You told me he wants that new Steve Jobs material.
All
Make
right,
sure you
we'll
put
talk
me in that
after
list
the
when you have your
show. This
discussion.
is an open mic and everything else.
Yeah, that's what you
All
told
right.
him.
Carl Jeffers, thank you very much.